In Japan, there are many wonders. Temples where silence speaks louder than words. Streets where every step follows the rules. Factories where everyday objects are forged into icons. But here's the paradox. In a country where discipline outweighs charisma, where humility isn't a weakness but a virtue, somewhere in the shadow of Mount Fuji, behind the roar of turbines and the scream of tires, a war was born. Not for oil, not for power, not for money, but for honor. A clash between two Japanese giants, badges somewhere close to their hearts, and others burn into the hoods of their rivals. On one side, three diamonds, Mitsubishi, an industrial empire that makes everything from ships to satellites, for whom cars were never the main business, yet they gave the world the Evolution. Brutal, uncompromising, no frills, no excuses, just one mission: go fast. On the other, 6 stars, Subaru, a brand that treats the boxer engine like a religion, where all-wheel drive isn't an option, it's a state of mind. This is the car that doesn't just win rallies, it creates them. They weren't building weapons, they were building legends. They split tracks, they split podiums, they split the hearts of fans. 2 philosophies, 2 schools of thought, one rally world with no mercy for the weak. Mitsubishi versus Subaru, Evolution versus Impreza WRX. This is the rivalry that began on WRC stages and never truly ended, because legends never die. They just find new battlegrounds, circuit racing, time attack, or maybe your garage. An era when Japanese car makers asked themselves, what if we take a boring sedan, bolt on a turbo, add all-wheel drive, and then throw it into the craziest racing series on Earth? Mitsubishi and Subaru created one of the most legendary rivalries in motorsport history. Red versus blue. Evo versus Impreza. But it wasn't just about racing. This rivalry defined an entire generation. Kids grew up playing Gran Turismo on PlayStation, or wrecking virtual Imprezas for hours in Colin McRae Rally. Suddenly, 2 strange Japanese sedans became cultural icons. Posters on bedroom walls, desktop wallpapers, and endless schoolyard debates. Evo is better. It has active yaw control. No way! Impreza rules. McRae proved it. To understand why this rivalry became so legendary, you need to remember what rally looked like back then. It wasn't the sanitized, safe version you see today. No barriers, no fences, just insane fans standing in the middle of the road, waving flags, praying not to get hit. And the drivers, they didn't know what fear was. Every jump could have been their last. And that's exactly why people loved it. Wait. If you like this story, smash that like button. And drop a comment if you want to see the full extended version, with more chaos, facts, and legends. All right, back to the rally. 1992, the start of the serious game. Mitsubishi rolled out the very first Lancer Evolution. Light, compact, all-wheel drive, turbocharged, with a viscous coupling center diff. World-level victories? Not yet. But the Evo 1 laid the foundation for an entire evolution. Simple but deadly effective. Red, angry, with an engine that wanted to tear the road to pieces. At the same time, Subaru unveiled the Impreza WRX, a boxer engine, symmetrical all-wheel drive, upgraded suspension, prepared by the ProDive team. It was stable, predictable, and ready for anything. The 555 livery, the blue paint, the gold wheels, a symbol of a new era. You saw one on stage, and you knew instantly this was no joke. That was the moment a man appeared who turned Subaru into a legend. Colin McRae, the Scotsman who drove like every stage was his last chance in life. If McRae saw a tree, he didn't avoid it. He tested whether the Impreza could survive the crash at 180 kilometers per hour. The key to victory was the driver. For Mitsubishi, it was Tommi Mäkinen, an ice fin with ice in his veins. Three-time world champion, he pushed the car to perfection, where every part served one goal: victory. If McRae was a Scottish hurricane, Mäkinen was a Finnish blade of ice. Mid-1990s, for the first time, Subaru and Mitsubishi faced each other for real. Rally was no longer training. It became the ultimate test of technology, of drivers, and of nerves. Red versus blue, chaos versus precision, and thousands of fans waiting to see who would win or who would fly off into the ditch first. From the very first stages, it was clear. Mitsubishi, precise, stable, almost predictable. Subaru, wild, unpredictable, as if it was leaping over the very laws of physics. Sometimes it felt like the Impreza was pulling off acrobatics just to make the crowd scream. Behind every Subaru slide, symmetrical all-wheel drive, and McRae's madness. Behind every Mitsubishi corner, AYC and Mäkinen's ice-cold control. It was as if the cars could read each other's minds. And all of this on a stage where every second could cost a title, or at least a bumper. But this clash was only the beginning. The true war of WRC titans was just starting. Blue versus red, chaos versus precision, and the whole world became a witness to a legend. And ahead of them lay years of epic victories, tragic crashes, and insane battles on the edge. 1995, Colin McRae, first title, Subaru Impreza. Subaru was no longer just another participant. They were champions. And suddenly, Mitsubishi had real competition. Red versus blue. The war had officially begun. Mäkinen and McRae, two worlds apart. Finnish precision against Scottish chaos. Every rally looked like a chess match, only the pieces moved at 200 kilometers per hour. Fans sometimes forgot to breathe while watching this madness. The crowd split in two, blue versus red, Subaru versus Mitsubishi. This wasn't just racing anymore, it was culture, it was style, it was passion, spreading across the globe. Even those who didn't know a turbo from a toaster understood when you saw an Impreza or a Lancer, the show had begun. 1996, Tommi Mäkinen takes his first crown in the Evolution. Subaru was now the one chasing. Every rally became a battle of titans,
not only for podiums, but for WRC legend itself. Mäkinen, calm, disciplined, precise. McRae, instinct, risk, chaos. One drove like an instructor, the other like an artist painting with gravel and mud. Sometimes the mechanics prayed, God, just slow him down enough so the car makes it to the finish. Late 1990s, Mitsubishi reached peak power. Tommi Mäkinen, 4 titles in a row. Proof the discipline and precision could overcome chaos. But Subaru and McRae, they refused to give up. Red and blue like superheroes. No capes, no masks, just turbos and all-wheel drive. Mitsubishi claimed the driver's titles. Subaru answered with the manufacturer's crowns. The Evo 5 and 6 were near perfect. Active yaw control, refined suspension, the legendary 4G63 turbo. Every decision gave Wari an edge. The car seemed to predict what the driver would do next. Sometimes it felt like the Lancer knew the stage better than the driver himself. Victories traded, titles disputed, fans roaring, engineers praying, the whole world watching with wide eyes. The late 1990s were an era of duels. Lancer dominant, Impreza striking back. WRC at its golden peak. Mitsubishi stayed precise and nearly unbeatable. Subaru kept searching for new ways, but the spirit of battle lived on, and WRC was preparing for a new era when the old titans would finally give way to new stars. 2000s. Mitsubishi, not the same monster from the 90s. Money problems, technical limits. The red giant was fading. Subaru, still alive, still dangerous. At the wheel, Petter Solberg, a new face, a new hope. Fresh tech, improved flat 4, symmetrical AWD. McRae's wild chaos replaced with Solberg's new strategy. The Blue Hurricane changed drivers, from a Scotsman to a Norwegian, but the madness still in the DNA.
And then a new enemy appeared. Loeb, Citroën, cold, precise, unstoppable. Every rally? Not just road versus driver anymore. It was survival against innovation. Mitsubishi fought back. Evo 7, Evo 8, Evo 9. Fast? Sure, but fragile. Victories? Rare. Titles slipping away. Tommy's blade was losing its edge. Red wasn't cutting the stages anymore. It was just fighting to stay alive. 2003. Subaru, last crown. Petter Solberg on top. But legends don't last forever. Loeb and Citroën, unstoppable. Every stage, every year, a new dynasty was born. Mitsubishi, crisis. Participation suspended. 2005. They try one last time. Lancer WRC 05. But the car was raw. The results disappointing. End of 2005. Mitsubishi says goodbye. Red is gone. Subaru fights on, but Loeb keeps crushing. Rally by rally, the blue storm fades. 2008. The announcement: Subaru is out. Fans, shock, silence, tears. Red left quietly. Blue left loud. The Japanese war was over. But the memory, eternal. Two titans, Two colors, chaos and precision, forever in rally history.